Go. Anyone else? Go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, what your venue is about, all that good stuff.
I'm Greg. I don't have an escape room. I have a birthday party center, Chelsea Party Loft in Michigan.
Welcome.
Just here to hang out and learn.
There we go. Welcome to the party.
Thanks.
Anna from Canada. Okay, sounds good. Hey, welcome.
And I've seen you on I think the last 4 calls. So by the time you open, you're going to know a lot of what's going on. That's awesome. I like it.
That's the way to do it. Smart. All right, who else we have? If you just joined, please introduce yourself and say where you're from and what kind of business you have while we're waiting for other people to join.
Hi. Sorry. Carry on.
Oh, I was going to say my name's Joe. I'm with Action Hero Studios in Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa.
It's escape rooms and other entertainment venues.
That's awesome.
Hi, I am Adil. I have Panic Room franchise in Pakistan, having 2 branches in Lahore and Islamabad. So yeah, that's my introduction.
Nice.
Awesome.
Wow, beautiful.
Good stuff. So
All
I
right,
think we got
anyone else?
I think we got another five or 10 people just joined. So if you guys just joined, go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, what your venue is about, and we'll go from there. We'll start in approximately 1 minute as people are joining here.
Don't be shy. We want to know where you guys from. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. Love it. There are too many people to call out now. You just have to raise your hand or just say something. It's good stuff.
Yeah, hello, everybody. My name is Muhammad. I'm joining from Greater Toronto area, Canada. We are having one virtual reality escape room in Mississauga.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So people will still join. We'll go ahead and get started here. Just the last group of people here. All righty. So thanks for everyone joining today. My name is Austin. I'm one of the owners of Blue Apple Launchpad. We do marketing for all things entertainment. And my business partner, Dimitri, is on the call here as well. Dimitri, as you probably already know, is well-versed in the escape room industry as of the past 12, 13 years or so. So culminating, we're able to provide a really strong service on the marketing side for entertainment because we've been in for so many years. Today, I'm going to pass it over to Dimitri, and Dimitri is going to introduce Jonathan and himself and such, and we'll go from there. Dimitri, go ahead and take it from here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Austin. So we're excited to see you here today. Want to introduce to you our special guest. His name is Jonathan, and I met him years ago, and it's an interesting story where he actually hired me to build escape room for him in South Dakota. And this is how our relation started a long time ago. So I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have production there. And so we built escape room, and we actually delivered everything and set up for him in South Dakota. And this is how our relation started. And during the build out phase when we were in South Dakota, I learned a lot about him, and I saw how he's running the business and how organized he is and how professional he is. And so we stayed in touch over the years afterwards. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I want to hire this guy. I want him to run my operations. I just don't know how to convince him to, stop doing what he's doing and move to Atlanta, Georgia and work for me. So opportunity presented itself after his escape room as a part of the family entertainment center was sold as a package, and he were available. And so I persisted and basically kept asking him, hey, come out, work with me. We can do great things. And it took me like I think another 2 or 3 years of convincing him before he decided, because it's a big move for him to move whole his family across the country, to the Georgia. And finally it happened. And so since that time, he's been our director of operations. We have locations right now in Georgia, in Arizona, we're building right now another escape room in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have other entertainment concepts that we own and operate in the different states. And so I'm happy to ask him to be our guest today, because there is an incredible story that happened not so long ago in our escape room, and it literally, as it says in a topic, it changes the way how we now operate in our escape room. It's small changes like this can make it or break your business. And so without further ado, I'm introducing Jonathan. Go ahead and tell us the story.
Hey, thanks, Dimitri. Yeah, so he finally convinced me. That's the whole premise of this call is if you trust him and you work for him, he can convince you to do anything. But no, I actually very blessed to be working with Dimitri. We've done and accomplished some great things. I'm blessed that he lets me kind of, grow his businesses and kind of take them to the next level and implement some of the things that we do. But yeah, no, we thought it'd be a great topic because it's not the topic that everybody wants to talk about. It's kind of a topic that we all know happens on the regular. Everybody wants to always highlight when things are great and look at what we do and look at all the good stuff and, try to not focus on the bad. But we'd be all doing ourselves a disservice if we don't learn from sometimes things that we can be better at, or, maybe listen to our customers a little bit more, or maybe get out of our own way or our own egos, or, all the variables that could potentially be. So I just want to structure the call today and just keep it simple. Most of all of us here have been in, or we're owners, or we've owned before, or we're all passionate. We all believe that we want to give our customers 150% of ourselves every single time. We want our staff to do the same. None of that stuff needs to be said. Everybody here understands that importance. So I'm not going to waste time and your guys' time on that. Rather, I wanted to kind of shift to a mindset focus of what we did and how I approached something recently that kind of awakened some things for us, and it actually helped our team dynamic. And I think it's just something fun to share that I think could be beneficial for a lot of people as well. So, let's just get right to it, Austin. Let's slap that bad boy up there. Let's show them this 1-star review we got, and zoom in on it if you can for them to see. Let's highlight it.
You have to read the review. All right. I'll just read the review. How
Yeah,
about that?
I was just saying, go ahead, read it. Read it
Okay,
as
all
the
right.
customer.
So Trina Brownstein, a smoking 1-star review. So just a poorly made escape room and high price. I'm so upset I paid what I did for us to have such a horrible experience. We went in, and at first the employee who helped us in was willingly helping us over the speaker occasionally without us asking, when we would be looking around not knowing what to do, of course. When we actually needed the clues that we were told we could call to use, he was nowhere to be found. Just never picked up the phone. We just wasted our time, gas, and gave them free money. As the escape room was poorly made compared to others I've been to in the past. So disappointed. Very negative review.
Ouch. Right. So obviously we got this review, and I reached out to the customer. We made contact. Clearly she had a lot to say about the experience, and definitely always we want to reach out and first make contact with customer, number one, just to show that we are listening, right? Because that's the most important thing. But as we all know, right, there's always 3 sides to every story, right? Their side, our side, and the truth. And then where do we go from there? So just to kind of give some context here on this story and what happened, it was a first-time escape room player. they came in with a little bit of concern about escape rooms in general, like not knowing what it was. Our staff is trained to just kind of like, talk it up and, get them to book, basically, right? Like as business owners, we want to just convert sales. And, if they're in there, let's get them on the books, let's get them in the room, let's let the room have fun, whatever. So busy day, we get them in, we have 8 escape rooms that we're managing at any given time, and we get them going. And initially, it was very clear and evident to the game master right away that they were new. They told us they were new, and they opted to try to assist and help them. What's left out of this review is the fact that the customer cussed at our game masters about 2-3 times early in the beginning, telling them, "Can you please stop effing helping us? We don't need your effing help. We'll call you if we effing need you." So very straight to the point, very brutal, very leave us the heck alone. Okay, so game master's like, all right, well, we're gonna just take a step back here. We don't need to get a bad review out of this. We're gonna let it be. Well, because they don't know how to puzzle yet, they don't never seen an escape room. In context wise, they don't really know what's going on. It just kind of spirals from there. So they reminded them nicely, like, hey, you guys have clues, feel free to reach out whenever you want. They go to reach out for the clues. They start hanging up the clue phone, basically, on our staff. So there's just a lot to it. Met with staff, talked to them about it, asked them, how we could be better. What do you think? Where did we go wrong? I spoke to the customer, and believe it or not, they actually, funny thing, enjoyed the room, loved the room, thought the room was great. And it was more of a very reactive review based on how they felt in the moment, which most of these types of reviews are, right? It's very reactive based on the exact moment and how they felt. And a lot of the times it's, what can I say to hurt your feelings to get your attention, right? So upon addressing everything, talking to her, working things out, we got them to, give them a partial refund, but also insisted that they come back, and gave them credit to come back and try again a different time. But then it was, let's talk to the game master. Let's see what we could have done differently. And the game master admitted they got frustrated and didn't really know how to handle this specific customer, because they felt 1 minute they want help, 1 minute they don't want help. They're saying leave us alone, but then calling, but then hanging up the phone and saying we don't need the clue, never mind, forget it. And so they just kind of lost interest in it and interest in the customer. And while I understand why, that's coached, that no matter what the case may be, don't take it personal, right? It's just the way some people react in certain situations. And we're not here to be therapists. We're just here to work for them. So they would like a clue, we'll be available. But it actually ended up leading to a big team meeting where we all sat down and discussed, like, maybe we need to rethink this differently. Maybe there's something we can do. And it became unanimous with all the staff that this isn't like a once in a one-time experience. Like sometimes it's really hard as a game master to navigate certain groups. Like the ones that are just having fun and love to have fun, those are the easy ones. Then you have enthusiasts sometimes that prefer to be left alone. They want a puzzle. Give us the opportunity to solve the puzzles. We don't want to be bothered, we'll let you know. And then some people just have a false sense of understanding. Like they think, oh, well, if I get a clue, that means I'm stupid. No, this doesn't mean you're stupid at all. We're here to help you. We want you to have a good time. So then it got me thinking, what do I need to do procedurally wise to set up my staff for, success? Because maybe it's not my staff's fault. Maybe it's not our customer's fault. Maybe it's not anybody's fault. But I have to put all my ego aside, or, the staff's, who's right or who wrong aside, and let's just find a solution here that could potentially help everybody. And so I sat down and I figured out, well, if you give customers too much, they get confused. And so let's keep it simple. And let's just set a standard of expectation from the door, from the second we meet the customer. And then we have a standard of expectation from the staff as well, and a standard of expectation from ownership and from the business side. So we came up with this, which Austin, if you want to show them. And what I mean, this is as simple as it gets. It's as simple as it gets. So when we meet our customers, we share this with them. We actually let them pick the way they want to play, and we don't give them multiple choices. It's literally 2 choices. You can either play classic or you can play casual. And go ahead, Austin, you can read that off to them. So like classic, explain what it says.
Okay, so classic, down to the basics. We don't talk to you unless you talk to us. Your fate is completely in your hands unless intervention is necessary. We'll stay out of your way. Don't be a sore loser, though. Smiley face.
Yep.
That is classic. And then casual, your fate remains slightly in your hands. Our game masters will interject if you fall behind, ensure you have a fun time, and make sure you get to see the entire game. They might even crack a few jokes along the way with you. And then the note at the bottom is, no matter the game mode that you choose, you will still get 5 clues and have a ton of fun while doing it your way.
Keyword there, your way. So what I figured out is like, when we serve our customers, right, we work for them in these moments, right? Like they pay the bills, they write our paychecks, they make us be able to do things. They should be treated as such. And so trying to take it to the next level of making the customer feel this isn't a revolving door where you come in, you do things our way, these are the rules, you know, this and that, whatever, and kick them out the door. We don't want them to ever feel that. We want our staff to feel empowered, and also at the same time, like, you know, I have very passionate staff that want all of our customers to do well, and they want them to have a great time. But some customers, it's tough, right? Like they don't want that type of attention. They don't want that type of experience. They kind of prefer to do things their way. And it's really hard on the game masters because they're trying to figure out how do I juggle that. And so we made it very simple. We sit down with the customer at the beginning. We tell them, hey, we have this, you get to choose today how you want us to basically experience with you the game. So it's your way, you choose. And then we also tell them we have a clause at 30 minutes, we're going to ask you if you would like to change your decision. So at any point in time, you can also change your decision. But if you want to try like the first 30 minutes, you know, in classic, and if you feel you're struggling and you would like some help or you want to shift it, by all means, at 30 minutes, we can change it. Or at any point in time, just simply say, hey, can we switch our mode from classic to casual? And what this does is it eliminates any confusion for our staff. They know, and it's like a well-oiled machine now. Like my staff at the beginning, they're trained, they talk to the staff, they love it. Customers have absolutely ranted and raved. This is so cool. I've never seen this before. I've played other escape rooms. This is cool that they let you choose. So, you know, this is a cool way to visually kind of make them feel like they matter from the second they walk in the door. And then our staff knows and they're trained exactly how to handle the decision and the choice, right? So, you know, example today, we had a group, I was there, I got to observe. We had a group that was new. They did not want the casual play. They wanted classic. They said, we kind of like to be left alone. Perfect, no problem. Let the staff know. They, you know, said the deal like, hey, at 30 minutes, we'll check in with you. If any point in time you decide to change your mind, let us know. About 20 minutes into the game, they were like, okay, we might have chomped off more than we thought here. We thought we played games on our phone. We thought this would be easier. So they just laughingly, they were like, can we do casual? And of course, the game master was spot on. It was like, absolutely, you can. I'm here for you guys. Let's switch it up. And then gave them a clue, and then they just played casual the rest of the way. And they loved it because they got the choice. It was their choice. It was their choice from the beginning to the end, how they wanted the interaction to be, and it didn't feel forced. And after they were done, they were so thankful. They enjoyed the experience. They had an amazing time during the escape room, and they tipped my game master $20. And I feel like that has been happening a lot recently as far as like tips go. Our tips are up high for our game masters. My game masters typically on average in a week can bring home anywhere between $200 to $250, sometimes more if we're on busy weekends, $300. So we have a really good system and it's working. So it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you know, why keep this to yourself? Let's talk about it. I'm sure that some of us probably on this call are already doing our own variations of this type of you know, idea. If you're not, it's a great thing to consider. I'm not saying you have to do that, but we have seen so much success with it. We've seen a huge change in our customer, you know, dynamic. Our staff is not stressed. Like they know exactly what they need to do now. They know exactly how they have to interact with the customer based on their choices. Um, you know, on a busy Saturday, you know, we have 3 groups that are choosing to do classic. And if they fail for whatever reason, because some people just they want to try to do it on their own, our exit for them is very simple. We just tell them, you know, hey guys, oh man, I wanted so bad to jump in and help you guys along the way so bad, but I wanted to be respectful to you guys. You guys chose classic, and I wanted to make sure that we respected that, and only gave you guys those clues when you wanted. But you know what? I loved you guys. I thought you were great. I'd love to interact with you. If you guys decide to come back, choose casual. I would love to play, you know, to enjoy the game with you guys and you know, do more with you along the way. If you guys get stuck, I can help you. And it has been super popular. People come out and they're like, oh, when we come back, we're definitely choosing casual next time. And nobody has not liked it or been upset or whatever the case may be. And literally customer morale is way higher, and they feel more valued now than they ever have before. And that just was from just getting out of our own way and taking a review like this and saying it's nobody's fault. It's not the staff's fault. It's not the customer's fault. It's just what do we do to be better? Period. End of subject. That's the one thing we are in control of is what can we do to be better. And this is a testament of it because shortly after we applied this method, we got this review. Go ahead.
This review. We've done more than 75 escape rooms, and this one easily ranks as one of our favorites. The rooms are creative, well-designed, and full of clever details that keep you engaged from start to finish. The staff is incredibly friendly and clearly passionate about what they do, which makes the whole experience even better. We were thrilled to learn they've even added 2 new rooms, which we couldn't resist and have already completed. And they're in the process of updating a couple more rooms. So we're very excited to come back. Whether it's your very first escape room or your 50th, this place is a must visit.
So polar opposite change, you know, and obviously we share both the highs and the lows with our staff and as well as with you guys, right? So talk about a bounce back. And we shared this with the staff and we said, what do you guys think? What do you think was the difference? And everybody unanimously said the adaptation of the classic and the casual has completely changed the whole dynamic for them, how they interact, how our customers are interacting. They're getting more tips now. You know, they feel like they know exactly what they need to do, how they can execute, and they just feel empowered. And so do our customers. And so that was the moment for us where we realized, like, man, we need to adapt this. We need to make this part of our procedural stuff going forward. Any other future business opportunities or things that we embark on, other new rooms that we open up, other businesses that we open up. You know, sometimes we see these reviews and you have 3 choices to make when you see something like this, right? It's respond, move on, right? That's always like the key thing. Respond, move on. Ignore it, which is probably the worst thing you can possibly do, is just ignore it as if it didn't exist. We say ignore it and bury it, right? Like just ignore it and just bury it with good reviews, but that doesn't make it go away. And that doesn't mean that we address the situation. It just means that we didn't learn anything from it, right? And then the most important thing is that, you know, I call it, you know, knowing your weight class. So some people's weight classes are a little bit higher than others, and it's not because they're not there yet. They haven't had an opportunity to really push themselves. Weight classes is where somebody can take something like this and go, okay, how can we turn around and make our business better off of this and turn it into revenue and make it be the star of the show in a positive light as opposed to a negative light. Like that's where it's taken it to the next level. And how do we bring people along with us along the way to share in that with us? And so that's kind of where we were at with this. And, you know, I shared it with Dimitri and he was like, man, this was he hates seeing these kind of reviews, right? As anybody should, me included. I have the business owner mindset. When I see this, it hurts, and it should hurt. Everybody on this call, if they got a bad review, it's personal, right? It's what could we have done better, or nobody wants to see a poor review. And some you're just not going to win, but at the end of the day, you can always win if you can try to find a positive out of it and spin it in your favor, and it ends up making your business better. So.
Nice. So I think to tangent off of this, has anyone got a poor review lately, or have an experience that is similar or just in the same vein where you got a negative review and you changed something up? If you want to put something in the comments or just raise your hand, turn on your speaker, go ahead and do that. We'll kind of turn this more into a Q&A session now. Also, if you have any questions on how to resolve a specific issue or problem, please ask that question as well. So Jonathan and Dimitri can answer that. And yeah.
And by the way, feel free, guys, to use this. You can literally copy verbatim, and Austin can probably even make it available. If you feel like you like this and you're like, man, this is easy. I don't have to do any work. The work's already been done. Do it, because it's only going to help our industries and anybody's industry in general. So.
Hey, Jonathan, I cannot not to ask you a question. Can you explain a little bit more on a 5 clues rule?
Yes. So we set a standard of 5 clues, just so that customers know that, they have them available to them. They can visually see them on the screen. But we also let them know that at any point in time, if they feel the need to ask for more, they can certainly do so. Our strict players prefer to just know exactly what they have and what's available to them. If you tell them that they have unlimited, they could care less one way or the other. They're probably not even going to ask for your help. But our regular customers that just want casual, we just tell them, hey, you got 5 clues. But along the way, you're going to have a game master, keeping you on pace and making sure you guys are seeing things. But if you get stuck, feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you, And a lot of the time, they don't even use the whole 5. They only use like 3, or less.
So I do something a little similar at our escape room. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yes, I own Escape Cocoa Beach here in Cocoa Beach. And so, with reviews, I learned that, we've been over-clued, we've been under-clued and stuff like that. And, as far as training my staff. So what I started to do was I started to, in our intros, I'm not sure if you guys intro or how many people intro or whatnot. I've been to escape rooms where they just kind of shove you in the room and say, hey, but what we do is I tell my staff to say, hey, should I leave it solely up to you to ask us for clues? Because you get the people who are enthusiasts and, they paid 100 rooms. And for some reason in our room, even though they've played so many, they still struggle quite a bit. So, I treat each group the same in the fact where even though I'm asking them, hey, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to ask for us to clue, or would you like us to leave it up to you to ask us for clues? Or do you want us to step in when we see you falling behind and kind of give you a nudge? And I always make sure that we say, hey, how are you doing before we go into a clue. I don't like when my staff just goes right into the clue, because if they ask a question, they just need a question answered, then it just kind of ruins that whole experience. So it works out pretty good. I'm not going to let our guests struggle at all by any means, but even if they say no, just leave it strictly up to us. We just know to let them go for as long as possible before we kind of interject and say, hey, how are we doing? And then they go, okay, yeah, go ahead and give us a clue. So yes, I do. I like that your section of that, but that's the way we do it at ours.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to go through hand raises, and I think panic, or let's see, panic room, information desk, go first.
Yeah, it's panic room. I don't know why it comes information desk. Sorry for that. Anyways, so at panic room, we are having a very good rating, like 4.8 at one branch and 4.9 one branch. And most of the time, like almost 99%, like we get 5 stars review. Recently, I got 1 star where the player said that, we asked for the clue and the game master was rude, and she was not able to explain it, or I mean, like, when we ask for it, and she's always rude. So what happened when I investigated the whole thing? What exactly happened was, the players who were playing that, they were not able to understand. First of all, we have a kiosk system. You press the button, and then you get a pictorial clue. And if the players are not able to understand, then we speak on the speakers, and it goes on the mic and goes on the speaker. So the player was not even able to understand. So the lady who was repeating it, she repeat once, twice, third time. It's a human nature. When you repeat something again and again, that goes something like harder, I would say, though she was trying to be polite. So the players took it as they were not able to understand. They took it as like the lady was rude. And then they have written the whole thing on the review. We didn't have a good time, and the game master was very rude, and she was not giving us a clue, and blah blah blah. So, my question is how to tackle that kind of thing, if something happened like such, and what is your idea to tackle that type of situation?
So I can speak to that. So there's a couple ways. So one of the things we do in training, and this came about from observation of a game master that I had that's one of our best. He's actually really, really good, like top notch. And he got a 1-star review because of similar, almost identical to what you just said. And what it comes down to is that our game masters, like, they're so passionate about what they do, and he's very in character. We're trained, everything is in character, right? So the character that my guys come out as, the introduced character, becomes the character and their clues, and so everything is merged with the story. The problem is that the choice and the accent he was doing was kind of very difficult for them to understand. In addition to that, he was saying the same clue to them multiple times the same way without thinking, okay, they're not getting it. So I'm getting frustrated because they're not getting it. But the inner reflection needs to become, okay, I'm the game master. My job is to make sure that they can figure this out, right? Like, I have to figure out something. So my question to him was, did you think to potentially try to say this differently or approach it differently? Maybe just literally even saying in layman terms, well, I didn't want to break character. I understand. But in this moment, what's the worst of the two situations here? Breaking character a little bit, making sure that they are 100%, not confused anymore, saying it in a completely different way, and ensuring that they understand it, or sticking to your guns and doing it this way. And he was like, you're right, you're right. So this led to a training. And this is something I encourage all of you guys to do. I think you guys might find this fun to do. Get with your staff, send them down in a room. Say, hey guys, we're gonna go over ideas here on how we can give clues. So I would come up with a scenario in one of our games, and I'll have everybody write down on a piece of paper privately how they would say the clue or how they would give the clue. And then they pass it around, and then I read them out loud. And what we determined is that everybody has their own unique way of saying something, right? And some people found that, like, oh, wow, I never thought to say it that way, or wow, that's different. And so we try to do that randomly in training, where we just have everybody kind of write how they would say something or clue something, as a way for all of us to look at things from a different perspective, because I may just say it my way because it's the only way really I know how to say it, or I may not know a different way to say it, or I may not have a different way. And so it's kind of like using the staffs. We all have great brains. Let's work together as a team as opposed to against each other. And I'll give you an example. The game behind me here. There is a part in the game that's it's a great puzzle, but it's a clue that requires observation. So they find a recipe book, and on the recipe book, it's literally the exact stove that's in the game with pots. And it's like meant for them to find the same pots and set it up exactly as they see in the image on the cover of the recipe book. That's step one, and then they find the recipe, and so on and so on. Sometimes groups see that right away. They know it. They figure it out. They go, oh, that's cool. Look, it's in the picture. We got to set it up. Other groups don't. My guys were struggling to try to figure out how to explain to them. You need to look at the recipe book. You need to open up or you need to go back to the cover. Take a look at the cover. What do you see? And it wasn't working. It wasn't working. We did this meeting, where we all got down together. We wrote out our things. And one of my game masters, who's kind of more the quiet one, wrote down, hey guys, let's take it back to the beginning. Remember, this mother wants her room or wants her kitchen picture perfect. And it was the picture perfect that clicked. And other people were like, our team was like, oh, wow, I never thought to say that. Everybody says it now. Instantaneously, everybody gets it now. They flip the book. They said they really emphasize picture perfect. Everybody sees the clue now. There's no confusion, and people rock it out, and they have a great time. So I think for us is like maybe just a way to help out is sit your team down and just go over different ways that we can maybe say things and approach things, and let them feed all that into a bucket, and we just pull it out and we can laugh about it. We'll read clues and laugh and stuff, and it becomes a fun thing to do with the staff, but also very educational because it can help somebody who's maybe struggling, especially our newbies who are really trying to figure out their way and trying to figure out how to be the best game masters. Man, throwing those in the pot like that is such a great thing for them. So that would be my advice.
Nice.
Well, that's really great. Yeah, like you have already you have definitely given some insight to have a training there. Thank you so much. That will be really helpful. I'll try that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, next, Marty Roberts.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Marty, what's up, buddy? We can hear you.
Try to keep it down. It's kind of loud around here. I don't really have a clue issue just because we don't do voice clues. We have a clue system that comes over the speaker system, and we use that. But my question is more on the feedback reviews. We get really good reviews. I mean, we have most people brag on our staff, on our reviews, on our Google reviews and TripAdvisor, things like that. Got a lot of bragging on our staff, things like that. So we're, very happy with our team and things like that. But my biggest problem is, and I don't know if there's a way to go about doing it or how to do it. Maybe you guys have some experience doing this, but I try to respond to every review. It doesn't matter what it is, Google review, whatever. I take a day, hour, whatever. And I try to respond to every review. So if you come onto our website and you just leave, or on Google and just leave 5 stars, we're just like, hey, thanks for the 5 stars. We know there's always more room for improvement. You get a chance, let us know what that is. Just engagement really is just saying, hey, you took the time to leave us a review, so we're going to take the time to respond. So we do that a lot. The biggest problem that we have, or I have, when I get a bad review is like the other day we got we stay at pretty much a 5-star for the most part. We learned if you get one bad review, 4-star, 3-star, you drop right down to 4.9 immediately. But here's the thing. I get a 3-star review. It was never brought up in our company, to any of our employees. We had to go back and try to research to even find this person, and barely found them in our booking system because they were booked under one of the main lead people that book for their system. But I don't even know how to respond to a 3 on Google because there's nothing there other than just 3 stars. And so it's like, well, how do I fix 3 stars? I don't even know how to respond to that. And so, we got a 3-star on one guy one time, and I gave him a refund, and he's like, I still stand by my review, but I'll give you a 4-star since you gave me my money back. So it kind of is like, okay, I got it. You weren't going to, I don't expect a 5-star every time, but it is kind of nice to know if I'm going to get a 3-star or 2-star, 1-star, whatever the star is, how do I respond to that? Or have you guys ever responded to that? Have you responded to that? And in a nice professional way. I know there's some escape room guys that I've watched and I read reviews, and there's a couple of them out there, man, they're just brutal. If you call one of their people out, they're like, you're a liar. Of course, we would never do that. We're never going to attack our guests. I don't care if we like them or didn't like them or whatever, but we're never going to come out and go, you're a liar. So I'm just trying to figure out how to respond to a 3-star, and there's nothing there. So I don't even know how to make it better for them.
Marty, I got a good one for you. Oh, go ahead, Dimitri. I got a good answer for this, actually, a really good answer for this.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll answer and then you answer, and we'll ask the
Go
audience
ahead.
to
Go ahead. This
yeah,
one's
to
going to be
vote.
funny, but go ahead.
So the way how I treat it, always be respectful to the reviews that you get, and I would never start fighting with anyone. It's just it's negativity. It's not going to give you any good results anyway. So I'm trying to do always constructive criticism. So for example, if somebody gives me a negative review, I'll still will thank them, and I'll tell them that, hey, we'll review it and we'll work, we'll see what we can improve. And I love that you mentioned that you give a refund. This is a great idea. I try never fight if somebody want to get a refund. I just issue it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Alex Hormozy. There is like great guy. I just recently read one of his books, and he mentioned in the book same way. Like if somebody asks for a refund, do not spend your energy to try to fight it. Instead, focus on getting new customers in the door. This is much more productive. And so this is my approach. And if there's a 3 stars and if they didn't comment, oh well, you can still thank them for their review and mention something else. Maybe you working, there is opportunity for you, right? They left your review. Oh, sorry, we have a big train passing by. So, they left your review. There's opportunity to, say something about what else you do, maybe something else going on. And I can tell you that when I was doing game mastering myself, sometimes it's so hard, especially the customer, you were their game master, you did everything possible to make it perfect, and then they drop you like 2-star review and add some harsh words about experience. Sometimes it's hard, but little by little it took me to understand that there is nothing personal, it's all business, and you have to stay professional. And yeah, this is how I did. Okay, Jonathan, your turn.
So 3-star reviews are the best review, right? Because I feel like they are genuine reviews, right? Because let's be honest, like a 1-star review, to get a 1-star review, it's only one of two things. You really did the worst job ever you've ever done, or somebody is just extremely pissed off and reactive, right? Case in point, the review I got wasn't really a 1-star review, but it was just they were so upset and angry that they just wanted to stick it to us, and they're like, "You're getting a 1-star review, right?" And so I feel like 3-star reviews are the best reviews because it gives you the best opportunity to flip it into a 5-star review, because it means they generally have something that they felt could have been better, and they probably have good feedback or potential feedback. So a good way to look at it, Marty, maybe might be like respond to it and say, hey, we want to earn that 2 stars from you to make a 5-star. I want to invite you back for a private experience. I want to be available, or I want one of my managers to be available for you for the next one. And we want to do another room for you and earn that 5-star from you. And we want you back. We want your business back. We want to take care of you. Your opinion matters to us. Come back. And let's turn this 3 into a 5 for you. And be genuine in that review and say that. Because imagine somebody's reading that and they're like, man, he wants them to come back and he wants to change it. And then, but don't just invite them back, get them back, like reach out, give them a discount to come back and play another game. And then after they come back, nail it. And then at the end, be like, hey, did we earn that 2 stars from you? And if they say, yes, this was so much better, be like, awesome. Thank you so much. Do you mind, like, would you do a new review for us on Google? And don't change your original review, but just add to it and just say, hey, we originally wrote this a 3-star, but they earned their 5-star. That's all we ask. And man, those hold so much value. Like if somebody says we came in, we had a bad time, owner reached out to us, manager reached out to us, they gave us a discount, we came back, they killed it, they had an amazing time. We're changing our review from a 3 to a 5. That has so much more value than any 5-star review or 1-star review or any other review you could possibly get on Google. So I mean, those are gold mines. Go after them. Go
I just,
after them. I mean,
I
I
just
love
say, oh, it looks like your phone died before giving us a 5-star review. So feel free to come log back in and give us those other 2 stars. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like take those as gold mines to turn and flip it into great opportunity for you guys and challenge your staff too. Like I think it's fun. Like I tell my staff, like, hey guys, that 3-star review is coming in. We have a shot today to nail it. Let's nail it, you know. And they take it seriously. They're like, oh, we getting those 2 stars. We're getting them. We're gonna get those 2 stars. So hope that helps.
Nice. Next hand raise, Escape Room Sarasota.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I just wanted to say, I like that you defined classic and casual the way you did, and kind of, I mean, I'm assuming that's something printed or in, in your lobby that your
Yeah.
customers are seeing.
Yep.
Because once you define something, it makes a nice comfy box, for them to feel good about. I've been doing that informally. I took over an escape room with a so-so reputation, and we're still working on rebuilding it. But the guy had like no Instagram presence. So I've just been doing Hinstagram. That's my free giveaway. If you're willing to scan our QR code and follow us, you can have unlimited hints. So usually that's people's way of choosing casual mode with us. It's not so much that the people who appear to want to be more left alone won't eventually cave, or I'll like ask them, do you need help? So I'm kind of doing it informally, but I'm not giving them that box or label of safe place to kind of think about. But here's my problem. That idea of the 2 modes works, I'd say, for a broad swath of people, but there's still a lot of people who just don't get it. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, right? Because I'm terrible at sports, and half of the time I can't parallel park very well. I mean, I have all kinds of deficits, but I don't know how they found my escape room. They're not abstract puzzling type people. And I mean, I have games that, like, I've been doing this for 10 or 12 years. So my games are fair at this point. I'm not that person, like, oh, of course, the piece of corn that was lodged in the guy's teeth is this, nothing like that. But they're not thinking that way. They're either too new, like you said, they're not used to puzzling, or this sport is not for them. But they're often the people who are the most aggressive in thinking that they won't need any help. So we tend to lean into, I hate to say it, manipulation. And I don't know how I feel about this, but it sometimes seems to be a necessary coping skill. So some of our tools of manipulation, I mean, one, we use M3. So we have a hidden time multiplier. So I can slow down and speed up time. And sometimes we use that rather than letting people know how far behind they are. But when it really is difficult, we kind of start to think about, like, don't try to make the customer solve the puzzle you designed. Let the customer solve something that they can make sense of. Like, we have a puzzle with a volcano on it where you're offering gifts to Pele. And, to figure out one of the gifts, you're supposed to translate this thing with stools and find the surfboard and figure out how to match the stools and the colors, and then, go through all these steps. And I'm just thinking, like, you guys aren't going to get to this. And I hate that. But at that point, I want to, like, trigger my talking parrot that goes, Haley loves to have a drink with tonic, and just go, Jen, somebody knows this. And they just run over and do it. I don't know how you feel about kind of using those modes to, and having like time blocks to give yourself permission to find a different question to ask. I mean, and again, I'm not saying I do this to every team, but when I've had, like, I'm pretty good at reading people, but I don't want to be here all the time. And I'm certainly, like, that's not my main job, but it's really hard to get game masters who are that psychologically flexible. So I don't know. I've been leaning into going, how can I design my games so that when we're at this time point, and I know, like, the new version of M3 has some, what he's calling stoplight features that help with that, but we're also trying to put our own sensors and cues to just go, no, switch the puzzle dynamic. You know, if it's A to B to C to D, let's go from A to C or A to D now because this is not working. And I mean, even if it's casual and you give people too many hints, no matter how entertaining you are, they feel dumb and I feel bad. And I'm like kind of going, you know, maybe this just wasn't the right experience for you, or maybe, you know, whatever. Like, I'm going to shut up for a minute and see what other people have done with this, because that's kind of where I'm leaning with making the game also dynamic, because I don't know.
I mean, dynamic is great. I mean, if depending on like some of us, like we have very high tech rooms, so we can make our rooms dynamic, and like we have designed some puzzles. So like we have like a puzzle that starts off with like it's a little bit more difficulty. Believe it or not, the way we have it programmed is if they're not to that puzzle by a certain time, it already knows that they're struggling in the game, so it's already adapting and it's gonna give them the easy version of that puzzle versus the hard version of that puzzle, right? Because it's already, you know, taken into account that like, okay, if it's taking them this long to get to this point in the game, it needs to activate. So the Arduino will actually play the opposite, you know, it'll play the easy sequence of that code versus the more challenging one, and vice versa. But that's not always attainable for 90% of us, right? Like there's still a lot of people that are like, they just have simple tech, they don't have adaptable.
Well, okay, you're right.
You can add it. You can add in regular paper puzzles or harder, you know, like take out stuff, things like that. I'm sure.
But there's a way to fake it. And I'm just gonna, you can do with this what you will. So the other thing that we do sometimes, and not all of my games, but several of my games have more than one game you can play in the same environment. And so there are often markers, or some, depending on the theme, stickers, something engraved in certain chests, that we always tell the customers, you know, ignore anything with these symbols because they're not part of your experience, you know, depending on what you're doing. So especially for the people who are less, I'm basically saying use information to distract them rather than always tech. Like you can sometimes get them from A to D without them knowing, especially if they already know there's elements in the room that aren't part of their game. I guess that's also a construct that, you know, you'd have to take this deception level pretty far, but it is a lower tech way. You know, you could print out a bunch of stickers and those could be bonus puzzles. You could reconceptualize your full game as having bonus puzzles. I mean, it doesn't have to be controlled, but I'm just telling you like where I'm getting to the point, because it's amazing. Like if I have a strong group, even if they're not very experienced, but like this is for them, they can just blaze through a game, and then I'll have a similar, you know, age, whatever demographic team. And I'm like, okay, 10 minutes over, we've got to find a way to wrap this up or something, you know, bring out the parrot. I don't know.
So we have 8 rooms and we're at the Mall of Georgia. So 90% of our clientele is, oh, this is an escape room. I've never done one. I want to do one, right? So we see that a lot at our escape rooms, quite a bit actually. The rabbit hole I went down is how much is my time valuable to me, and how much are, you know, like, because we ended up starting to like really try to like go above and beyond, like trying to make sure the staff, like, and that's where I ran into problems, is that trying to get my staff to figure out, like you were talking about, like how do I kind of push them through this, and how do I get them by there? How do I say things differently? You know, how can I, I agree with the term you're using, manipulate them to get them through this so that they still have a great time. They don't even realize it. It's beyond them now. It's fine. We're on with it. But that's where we ran into problems. And so I just felt like our team dynamic kind of went down a little bit, because some people were really strong at that element. I'm very strong at it because I've been doing this for, 13 years now. But I've got guys that are new in butts and chairs that have been doing game mastery for 2 years. It's really hard for them to get in that mindset and figure out how to do that, effectively. And I would call it, efficiently, and be able to read a group very well to understand that. So that's where, like, for us, just simplifying it for the customer just makes it so clear for us. And it's so easy for them now, that where they kind of just give up, they're like, they have that stubborn mentality, and then we just help them. And then our way of getting them through the game now is we when they're struggling or they're that kind of player, not that we play the game for them, but we have fun with them. Like we joke with them along the way, like, and help them see, like, you know, the puzzle differently, like how they should. And we make them solve it in a way that they feel they did it still, even though technically we, like exactly what you just said, kind of manipulated their mind thought on how they should think about it and taught them how to properly do it. And the thing for us is that, as you probably know, you sound very passionate like I do, and probably most of the people on this call. The idea here is I need you to come back. I don't want you to be pissed off. I don't want you to hate escape rooms. I don't want you to think you're stupid. I don't want you to be dumb, you know, think you're dumb. I need you to think that was the coolest thing. I don't know exactly how the hell I did this or how in the hell this works, but I want to come back and play another one, right? So however we have to do that in a smaller intimate setting, I think there's so much more ability. Unfortunately, I cannot do that at our location just because we see so much traffic. I have to find a more like it's this and that, you know, and it's easier for my staff to just know what they need to execute when there's like, you know, 45 people in my lobby waiting for the next 7 games, and they've got to get games turned and get people through, and the stress of like, oh my God, I got to get these guys out of here so that I could get this next group in. And so that's where, you know, just throwing that out there too.
No, I get what you're saying, and I mean, so far this location is smaller. I'm kind of using it as my own incubator, but it's actually pushed me to the point where I'm starting to develop what I'd call almost choose your own adventure or even points-based games where there's a broad narrative, and I'd call it like a very bare trunk that you have to get along to be successful, but that the complexity of the game basically will match what you can handle. So what you didn't see is invisible. Like I'm trying to presuppose at this point and see if that helps too. Just because I like
love that
your
idea.
casual
I love
thing.
it. I love that idea. I love
Well,
it.
I'm not sure how successful it's going to be because I've been trying it in like different levels. I have this new fairy tale game called Once Upon AI that I'm really gonna like. I don't know if if you guys are gonna do these seminars on an ongoing basis, but it would be like I'm interested in what other people are doing too. I know I'm talking a lot, but you can tell this is like it's been really stressing me out. Like, how do I make everybody happy? Because I'm tired of people going, is this a hard room? Is this a difficult room? Is this an easy room? Is this room for kids? Is this room for adults? Is this room for, one-legged octopuses? And I feel like we should be able to say this room is for everyone. How can I make my rooms for everyone?
So I think like I'm very emotional. Dimitri will probably talk about that to some extent. It's probably a little bit more emotional than he is because I care a lot about our industry, about customers, about the experience, about everything to the point of like, you know, I'll do whatever I possibly can, right? What I've learned in 13 years is that unfortunately there's just gonna be people that I just cannot appease. Like I have to accept that. But as long as I'm doing everything I possibly can at any given day and never being complacent and always trying to adapt, like that's the whole point of this call today, is not being complacent and trying to find, because I can tell you some of the best, coolest things that people have developed in the escape room community between owners and ideas were from people with exactly in your situation, where that sense of frustration of like, no, I'm gonna find a way, I'm gonna find a way, or I'm gonna find an alternative, or I'm gonna find some way to do this or that, whatever. You're gonna stumble upon something that other people just won't, and that's gonna be your superpower, and that's gonna set you apart. And then, what do I do for that from there? There are rooms right now, I can tell you, there's one that we're considering right now, building that is based solely on exactly that. It's a game that's just filled with a ton of puzzles and a great fun story, and it doesn't matter how far you get. All that matters is all the fun, cool, hilarious puzzles that you're doing along the way. And if you get to do more of them, cool. If you don't, guess what? Come back, play more, play the same game again, see how much further you can get in it. So yeah, I mean, 100%, girl, get after it. You know what I mean?
I want to add
You're
something
doing the right
to it.
thing.
Yeah, I want to add something to it. There is no such thing as a perfect game, which everyone will enjoy. Look at
Nope.
the first 100 of Tarpika, even like first 10 on Tarpika. If you're gonna go on Morty and check, for example, their ratings, you will see that even the best of the best have some bad reviews.
One
It's like
stars.
you cannot just tailor it to everyone. So there is like hardcore enthusiasts on a one spectrum, and then there is a single mom who brought her, I don't know, 6 kids who've never played an escape room, and they completely on different spectrums, right? So what we should focus on is on everyone in between, and make sure that our games, as perfect as possible, and our game mastering is perfect as possible, and tailored to these people in the middle. And then 5% on one side and 5% on another side. It's just nature of the business. They're gonna exist, and of course we try our best, but we just have to be realistic. There is some people who, no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah. I was gonna say another thing that I know Escapology pushes in our area is kids mode, which is essentially just like a checklist that's, to help you, have I'm doing this, then this, then this, then this, then this. And I think they have some easier clues as well.
And it's another good way to do it. Yep. Yeah, there's different strategies to help customers to solve it, and as long as they enjoy it. Like I'll give you example, like interesting example, which also kind of opened my eyes a little bit. So when I was doing game mastering myself, there was a group where the husband and wife and their like 4 or 5 kids were playing. And during the whole experience, the husband put his hands like this and just stayed in a corner and just observed, right? He didn't react, he didn't do anything, and just looked like grim like this. Okay, whole game, all 60 minutes. So they came out. I came out to greet them and congratulate them. They didn't escape, but I still congratulate them on doing escape room. And like I asked them, so what did you feel like? How was the game? And the guy looked at my eyes and told me, this was the best thing ever. And I couldn't believe him. And he just smiled like this. It was the best thing ever. And literally, it was from the bottom of his heart. He really enjoyed it. But he's just one of those guys who never reveals his feelings. His wife liked it, his kids liked it, and he could stay in peace by himself and enjoyed watching them play. That's all what he wanted. And and he left us great review. And after that, I'm like, everything is possible. You don't judge by the first impression.
Nice.
So time is passing. Anyone else maybe have some interesting question about it before we start wrapping it up? Okay. Therefore, probably not. So, Austin, I guess let's do our closing statement.
All right. All righty. Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for being on the call. Great engagement. We love it. We will be doing the next call next month. We do these every month without fail. So just hop on here. We text it out. We email it out. If you don't see it for whatever reason, normally it is done mid-month. This one's done a little bit earlier in the month, but we'll be doing them every month. So make sure you hop on them every single month. That's pretty much it. If you ever have any questions regarding anything, operations, like we just talked about today, finding locations, leases, permitting, construction, marketing, of course, just let us know. We'd love to hop on a call and discuss stuff with you. And yeah, thanks for being on the call, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very
See you
much.
guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Have a
day.
good day.
You guys have a good one. Go be successful, everyone.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Yes, you can finish probably the recording.